Welcome, everyone, to a new episode of Don't Be a Loser. We will go over 5 relationship-related comments. Remember that a loser is simply someone who gives up on love and lives miserable forever. Let us begin, shall we? All right. First comment on the chopping block. Men realizing that they are actually the prize is what annoys women the most. Oh my goodness, the level of immaturity is through the roof with this one. This is part of the foolish gender war. All of the hurt men are gonna go, yeah, you tell those women. Tell them what? That you're the prize? So women are not the prize? You know, as someone who's in love myself, I consider both the man and the woman to be the prize. How about that? So for her, you're her prize, and she should be your prize. What are we talking about here? Because if you go with this toxic masculinity attitude here, oh, well, men are the prize, then you're saying that women are not the prize. Well, good luck with that attitude. No woman is going to want to love you, and that's probably why you're going to justify being alone, because you probably deserve to be alone at that point with a poor, negative, toxic attitude like that. And there's plenty of toxic women out there saying the same thing. Just reverse this. Women realizing that they are actually the prize is what annoys men the most. It always works both ways, for good or for bad. So this statement here is obviously what an opener. A loser statement. This is something exactly what a loser would say. Obviously, they're what people would call butthurt, right? They're very upset. They got burned. And they're trying to dish out their frustration on the opposite sex. In this case, women. Annoys? Why would you want to annoy women anyways? Why are you lashing out? Why are you trying to claw back? You have to settle down. You have to get over this attitude. This is a very negative, self-destructive attitude to have. It's only going to eat you away from the inside. Actually, from the inside out, because soon people will start to notice. Like, you look like garbage, you act like garbage, you think like garbage, and this is a garbage comment. It does nothing but stir up senseless, immature conflict between toxic women and toxic men. So congratulations. Whatever toxic woman hurt you, now you're becoming just like them. Congratulations. Let's go ahead and move on to the second comment, shall we? All right. Dear men, stop chasing people who make you feel hard to love. There are women out there praying for a man like you. Absolutely. Boom. Winner comment right here. So I'll explain why really quick. Yeah. Why bother chasing, women who say, oh, you're so hard to deal with? If you are hard to deal with, maybe you are immature. Maybe you are difficult. Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. But if it's a big red flag when she's saying you're always hard to deal with, you're always a problem, then why are you even with each other at that point? Let's give the benefit of the doubt. Let's say this guy's a good guy. He makes small mistakes, completely forgivable, but she just can't let it go. She can never forgive him. She makes a big deal out of the smallest things. She has no idea what kind of an awesome guy she has until she loses him. Because that's what's going to happen. He should move on and stop chasing her at that point. Now, this is the benefit of the doubt, meaning you're not an abusive person. You're not a combative person, always wanting to argue about over the senseless things, and you don't have toxic masculinity issues. You don't have to be squeaky clean, but you're not that rough. And she's still whining and complaining about you, saying you're hard to love. Yes, at that point, there are plenty of fish in the sea. Plenty just praying, as they say here, hoping and praying. It doesn't matter if you're religious or not. Hoping that a man like you will come across their path. Hey, you get what you deserve. So, if she takes you for granted, move on. You're somebody else's prize. To follow up on the first comment. All right, let's go ahead and move on to the next comment. Absolutely. Very nice. We got a loser and a winner so far. Can y'all be with someone who's still in love? Sorry, who's still in communication with their exes? I would hope not still in love, or people they've been intimate with. Okay, no, no, you shouldn't be with someone who's still in communication with their ex or exes, because they said plural. People they've been intimate with. No, 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 no. It's a respect thing. You're with a new person, you need to move on. Because if you maintain contact with that person in the past, you're going to be living in the past, and you can't live in the present like that. You might argue, well, they're just friends. Okay, yeah, you know what? If it works out, to each their own, but I do not advise it, because the past could come creeping up in the future or in the present moment, and you're just playing with fire at that point. So why even play with fire? Even if it's just a small little tinder, why play with the chance for something to go wrong? Because sometimes old habits die hard. So let's say your current relationship is not really working that well. Let's say you have a down part where you guys argued. Guess who's going to be making phone calls or messaging? You see, it's just too much of a temptation, especially if your ex is still single. Or, hey, they could also be taken just like you and want to do the cheating game. This is how problems really escalate on the highway. This is the highway to really bad problems. So, yeah, it's a fair question. People do need to ponder that. So I'm going to slap a fair sticker right here. It's a decent question, because apparently some people are comfortable with it, but I would advise against it. Why play with fire? I wouldn't do it. I really wouldn't. And even if it does work out for quite some time, it's just a matter of time. Most likely. Most likely. Let's go ahead and move on to our fourth comment, shall we? People think I'm single in my 30s because no one wants me, laughing out loud. No, it's because I have standards that I can reciprocate. Oh, the easiest thing a woman can get is a man. Oh my goodness. Gotta slap the loser sticker on this one. This is an example of a toxic woman right here. Well, stay single, stay alone and miserable, continue to be a loser, because that's what you are. People think I'm single in my 30s. What happened to your 20s? And in your 30s, how far along are you in your 30s? Still single. Because that just spells failure, and with an attitude like this, it's no wonder. You're taking all the guesswork out of it as to why you're still alone and miserable. And you're proving, you're not laughing out loud. You're crying in silence every night because nobody is there next to you. And all those guys that you might be goofing around with, calling yourself single, those one-night stands, they're gone the next morning. Trust me, I think they used you as much as you used them. And that's the type of life you want? You think that's funny? It's not funny. You pretty much just expose yourself as a loser. It's because I have standards. Really, do you? What kind of standards are those? Obviously, standards probably far too unrealistic, which is why you're still single and alone. And you can reciprocate. Okay, well, why did you fail to this point? You're a failure. Congratulations. And you're telling the whole world that you are. So you're not laughing out loud. And it's not easy for a woman to get a man. It's easy for an easy woman to get an easy man and have a good time. Just that's all it's going to be. It's not going to be deep. It's not going to be love. It's not going to be meaningful. Heck, if that's what you want, go ahead. Yeah, sure. It's easy for a guy to get a girl too. To get a woman. Absolutely. It just depends what kind of case we're talking about here. If you go to a bar, if you go to a strip club, if you go to wherever it is, a club, just a dance club. Okay, well, you can pick somebody up there, sure, but you can't just call it a relationship, even if it lasts a few weeks or days or months, maybe a couple of years. I mean, sure, they could end up being the one, but what are the odds? They are not in your favor, I'll tell you that. 90-something%, I would slap that type of percentage that it's going to fail. And sooner rather than later. But go ahead and take your chances. There's a reason why people are still single. They don't know what love really is. They don't know what it requires in order to work. Make a relationship work with the power of love. And that's why I wrote my book and I created this beautiful video for those who don't like reading books to sum it all up. Exactly what love requires, all the intricacies. You have to go above and beyond, and it's not as hard as you think. But when you have a garbage loser mentality like this on either side, men or women, yeah, just expect more of the same failures in the future. So this lady right here is going to most likely be in her 40s, 50s with the same bad attitude, and it's not going to go good for her. Most likely. Let's go ahead and move on to the last comment, shall we? Rupture and repair is the foundation of a relationship. If you don't rupture, you're stuck on the surface. If you rupture and can't repair, you're missing the deepest chance to grow closer. Life is weird. There are ebbs and flows. You need to find someone you can ride the waves with. Okay. Yeah, I would avoid the ruptures. It should be a rocky road sometimes, if you guys clash heads. But the arguments should cease to exist. There's a lot of relationships out there where they're still arguing 20 years together, 30 years together. Why are you still together, still arguing like little immature young men and women? It's really sad because people, they think a relationship is ups and downs. It's supposed to stay up. How about that? Stay on top of the mountain and climb higher mountains together. But when you accept downs, there's your negative attitude. Well, I gotta be realistic. Life is just ups and downs. Yeah, maybe life is, but your relationship doesn't have to be. Understand? But this person here is talking about ruptures and repairs. So, okay, let's go ahead and translate this. Problems that bad things happen, and so you decide to forgive each other, repair the situation. Okay, but you don't want to have to go through that chronically. Here we go with another argument. Okay, who's going to forgive who? Who's going to get over it? Who's going to, let's kiss and make up. There's only so many times you can kiss and make up. You guys have to grow together. Stop the arguments. Stop repairing. Stop putting Band-Aids on the relationship. And yes, you're missing the deepest chance to grow closer, but there comes a boiling point, right? There's a threshold that now there's too many arguments, and now this time maybe I won't forgive you. Maybe we can't move past this. It all depends, right? So don't look for the snowball effect where it starts with little arguments and it keeps getting to mid arguments, and then, oh, should I forgive you? Can we move on? The past is creeping up on our present and definitely going to pop up in the future. So don't accept downs. Oh, life is ups and downs. Well, your relationship doesn't have to be ups and downs. And it's your responsibility and your partner's responsibility to strictly always be on top of that. You should have a no tolerance for stupid arguments that have the possibility of threatening to destroy your beautiful relationship. Because it's not just one person's fault, it's both of your faults for not standing against that garbage. So, yes, while kissing and make up, you can grow deeper, closer together, as this person is saying. It's totally not necessary. So, is this a loser's attitude? No, but they're promoting rupture. You're stuck on the surface. No, you should stay on the surface. You should keep your head above water. Seriously, there's no need to rupture anything. Don't rupture that ice glacier and find out how cold the water is underneath. Why are you going to start rupturing things just to find out, oh, okay, if she forgives me, then that means she's the one. If he forgives me, he's the one. Stop playing games. Stop testing your partner. My goodness gracious, stop. You're not actors. You guys have feelings, and this could cause mental and emotional traumas and problems, and it's already enough how much a relationship is required, how much effort in the relationship just to make it work. So why make a natural relationship, that's really loving and endearing, why make it harder by playing these games? Oh, you know what? We got to rupture some stuff. We got to repair. No, no. Avoid all of that. Okay. But needless to say, I'm going to have to slap a fair sticker on this because, it's not anything a loser would say. It's just dangerous advice. Because they're asking you to, well, like they're kind of just justifying what happens typically if you forgive each other and move on. You grow closer together through the trials and tribulations. Like, no, how about no? You just don't need any of that, okay? Seriously, let's take it steps further, whole levels further than that. This is being lazy. Like, okay, ups and downs. How about no? Okay. With that said, let's go ahead and conclude this show, shall we? So if you have a comment that you would like for me to go over on this show, put it down in the comment section down below. This has been Coach Ben's Don't Be a Loser. Much love, everybody.